way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us. This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR roof, don't tune in.
Yeah, welcome everyone. 2023.
Back in the building for 2023,
back in the building. You in the Mass Media Group. Once again, your number one source for reparations, especially out here in California.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we've got a lot of work to do. In the new year, we are in the home stretch with the California Reparations Task Force set to a sunset date set for June 2023, and the final report out no later than July 1st, 2023. So a lot coming down, fam. Stay tuned. Tap in. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. So I guess let's go on to the first story, shall we? All right. Ashe, always, unfortunately, we have to give our Ashe and our shout outs to our newly inducted ancestors, the ancestral realm. Fred White, former drummer of Earth, Wind and Fire, transitioned at the age of 67. White's brother and bandmate, Verdine White, confirmed his passing on Sunday, January 1st with a touching tribute post on Instagram. Born Frederick Eugene Adams in 1955, White would rise from the Chicago music scene as a child prodigy on the drums. At age 15, he met Donny Hathaway and soon was performing on the road with him. In White's post on Instagram, he referred to Fred as one of the EWF Original Nine. Although he wouldn't join his brother and half-brother Maurice White until 1974, with Fred on the drums, EWF rose to become one of the biggest soul and funk bands of the 1970s, blending mysticism disco, funk, R&B, and more into a hit-making machine. Also, Anita Pointer. It looks like the Pointer Sisters vocalist from the 1970s and 1980s passed away on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles at the age of 74. Anita died with her family at her side, according to her spokesman, Roger Neal. Her other sister, June, passed away in 2006, and her sister, Bonnie, who co-founded the group in the late 1960s, passed away in 2020. While we are very grieved by the passing of Anita, we are comforted in knowing she is now with her daughter, Jada, and her sisters, June and Bonnie, and at peace, her family said in an emotional statement. They said that since Anita is there, heaven is now a lovely, beautiful place. Anita's daughter, Jada, who was the subject of their 1973 song, Jada, died in 2003 from pancreatic cancer. Following Jada's death, Anita raised her only grandchild, Roxy. Sky News reports that Anita Pointer's death was caused by cancer. May they both rest in peace, and ashe, ashe, ashe.
Yes, rest in peace. So she was the last of the three sisters. That's very, very sad. May she rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All right, I think ETM covered this one. I was on a little hiatus towards the end of the holiday, but we can't cover this benign neglect and disrespect too many times. We gotta keep it at the forefront. My nation's original sin. Biden apologizes to delegation of African leaders for the unimaginable cruelty of slavery and offers them $55 billion as Rwandan president mocks U.S. in front of laughing crowd. Speaking during a gathering of almost all African leaders in Washington, D.C., the first since Barack Obama convened a summit in 2014, Biden expressed regret for the past, but insisted the United States is all in on Africa's future. During a White House dinner honoring African leaders and their spouses, Biden addressed what he called America's original sin, the enslavement of millions of people, and honored their descendants and the broader African diaspora community in the United States. Our people lie at the heart of the deep and profound connection that forever binds Africa and the United States together, he said. We remember the stolen men and women and children were brought to our shores in chains, subjected to unimaginable cruelty. Singer Gladys Knight later serenaded Biden and the visiting leaders with a performance in the White House State Dining Room. The White House announced that $55 billion was being directed to Africa in the areas of health, climate change, trade, and women's initiatives. But the money was met with some scorn by some. Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, was asked earlier on Wednesday whether the 2014 summit yielded concrete results. Quote, "Well, at least we had a good meeting," he replied to laughter from those who assembled. Biden's outreach attempt was seen by many as a way of limiting the power of China, which has invested more in Africa than any other nation. So, again, we can never lose sight of this type of disrespect from our own government here in the U.S. But another reason I wanted to cover this story again is because I've been saying, reparations is going to benefit everybody at the end of the day, even, indirectly, because America is so racist against American freedmen that they do not want to see us get ahead. So they're going to do something for everybody else if they feel like they have to do something for American freedmen, in my opinion. So we're over here talking about reparations, getting reparations going on the legislative level, and all of a sudden, reparations for Africa. See how that works? We ask for something, and everybody else gets it.
Yep. Do we have a video for this one or no?
Yeah. Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
All right, let's do it.
The African Union to join the G20 as a permanent member of the G20.
And there was no holding back on the pageantry, with the U.S. president hosting the leaders at a White House dinner where he honored America's African diaspora and its descendants, including the millions of people who were enslaved.
We remember the stolen men and women and children who were brought to our shores in chains, subjected to unimaginable cruelty.
Over the course of the
That's interesting. It doesn't seem like he was talking about freedmen, or was he?
I mean, he mentioned the descendants, but the apology was not directed at us.
There you go. Whew. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Maybe we should go back. Anyway, this dude, Akon, explains what's wrong with people like Akon. Recently, the popular musician Akon ignited a not-so-deep-seated controversy with a statement that appeared to insinuate that African entertainers were inherently better than Black American entertainers. Quote, "We're a little different when it comes to stage presence," end quote. The Deacon-voiced entertainer explained in an interview, quote, "Now in America, them N-words gonna be wobbling, pants hanging down, bored as heck, have to sleep because they're high as hell. But look at those YouTube clips from these kids from Uganda. For us, hey, interjection, it comes natural," end clip. The clip ignited controversy and exposed a not-so-deep-seated riff that demands a more nuanced discussion than 240 characters will allow. This dude, and then supposedly, if you could see in the screen here, that Akon City, which is supposed to be this big, elaborate, planned out city, is currently, looks like a rock sitting on top of a box and some other, like, I don't know, a piece of wood, plaque, or I don't even know what that thing is, but yeah, currently that's it.
Thought it was supposed to look like Wakanda or something.
Wakanda? Yeah, nah, it's definitely not Wakanda right now.
Wakanda.
Boom. Wakanda. So, you know, it's unfortunately, and I don't want to belabor this point because I think the media and also the Black grassroots media has done a great job in covering this story. But it's just really unfortunate where you have people come to America, and not just Black, African people from the continent, but everybody, other ethnic groups as well. They come to America, get their goods, either leave, bounce, or, stay here and thrive, but yet ridicule and basically down Black Americans, the ones who actually built this country, and the audacity that individuals like this have. I don't know if he's doing this to get attention, but he's received plenty of attention.
Yeah, I mean, and you didn't even mention the most despicable part. I mean, we get their goods and wealth and fame by mimicking us, cosplaying us. I mean, his whole style was co-opted from American freedmen. So what are you talking about? And then people have been calling for receipts. Hey Akon, let's see the Continental comparison to Michael Jackson, to Prince, to Whitney Houston, and it's been crickets.
I mean, facts. And let's not even, I mean, we can go deep in history, and I'll just say the Nicholas brothers, you know? I mean, the tap industry, the tap dancing industry, you know? The sister Chloe, I can't remember the sister Chloe's name, but man, she is so cold, you know? She's contemporary. You know, and then you have Sammy Davis Jr., obviously, and
we'll be here till 2024 trying to go over all of our iconic ancestors that put in work. And
yeah, so let's move on to the next story, shall we? Lord Jesus.
All right, so let's see what the Congressional Black Caucus is up to in 2023. Congressional Black Caucus, whereas in largest caucus in history, celebrates the rise of Jeffries. The CBC welcomed 58 members into the 118th Congress as the drama unfolds on Capitol Hill to elect the next Speaker of the House. The new and expanded Congressional Black Caucus was sworn in during a Tuesday ceremony for the 118th Congress. The swearing-in ceremony saw the installment of a historic 58 member of the caucus who serve 18 million Black Americans. From the Anthem Theater at the Wharf in Washington, D.C., the group of Black lawmakers comprising the largest ever CBC focus on the progress of the last Congress and the leadership of the new Congress, particularly one of its own members, New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who is elected as the minority leader for the Democratic Party in the U.S. House of Representatives. U.S. Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett of U.S. Virgin Islands told the Griot at the event that part of the mandate for the Congressional Black Caucus in the 118th Congress will be to ensure that the incredible work of the last Congress is actually administered and gets on the ground to the American people, and particularly to our Black communities. More broadly, Plaskett said the Democrats will also hold this Congress accountable for its actions and try and be a block and tackle any foolishness that Republicans try to bring out, including the potential thwart our forward progress. Okay. She added that the CBC will continue to fight for issues like voting rights, criminal justice reform, and racial equity. Many of the speakers of the CBC ceremony expressed their adulation for Jeffries as the Democratic leader and their hopes that he could soon become the House Speaker if Democrats were to take back the majority in 2024. Jeffries would become the first African American speaker in the House. So it looks like they're looking for accountability on issues like voting rights, criminal justice, and racial equity. Not a word in here about reparations. So, yeah, we see where their priorities lie. More things change, more they stay the same.
Boom. All right. Speaking of, breaking down the math for McCarthy to win the speakership. Republican Kevin McCarthy and his allies are getting creative and desperate in assembling the coalition he needs to win the speakership in the face of opposition from conservative hardliners. McCarthy, whose quest to become speaker enters its third day, needs a majority of the House members present and voting to get the job. If all 434 members vote, that means he would need 218 to win. The most votes he's received in 6 ballots is 203. But there's a loophole. If some members vote present instead of selecting a specific candidate, they aren't included in the denominator of McCarthy's must-win majority fraction. That effectively lowers the number of total votes McCarthy needs to win. Here's a look at where the totals have landed in the most recent rounds of votes. McCarthy 201, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, backed unanimously by Democrats at 212. Representative Byron Donalds, the current candidate backed by the McCarthy opponents, 20. Present 1, cast by Republican Representative Victoria Sparks in protest of the process. That leaves Hakeem Jeffries, a Democrat, with the highest vote total, but short a majority of all votes for a candidate required to win the speaker job.
So, when do you think this spectacle will come to an end?
Well, supposedly they're supposed to be going back to the floor tonight, I believe.
Tonight?
Don't quote me, but yeah, tonight. So, soon. Like, yeah. So tonight, I think like 10 o'clock or
13 so far? 13 votes so far?
Something like that. I lost count. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
But, you know, here we go again, you know, just the ridiculousness.
Right.
Like, dude, we need to, you know, get some bills passed. The government needs to...
Time to move forward.
Jesus, family. Nuts. All right, so we ready to move forward?
Absolutely.
We'll do it.
For the first time, California civil rights officials filed lawsuit alleging Section 8 discrimination. California civil rights officials have sued 2 Sacramento landlords alleging they illegally harassed and evicted a tenant because she paid through Section 8 voucher. The lawsuit announced Wednesday is the first brought by the state civil rights department under a 2020 state law making it illegal for landlords to refuse to accept tenants who pay with subsidies like Section 8. It comes amid criticism from tenant advocates that the department hasn't adequately enforced the law. Throughout the state, rental housing costs are climbing further out of reach for many Californians. Department Director Kevin Kish said in a news release announcing the lawsuit. Quote, source of income discrimination by housing providers exacerbates this trend and is unlawful, end quote. The Section 8 program is one of the U.S. government's most powerful tools to keep rental housing affordable and to fight overcrowding and homelessness. Administered by local agencies, Section 8 enables tenants to find housing with private landlords. The rent that tenants pay is capped at around a third of their income, with the federal subsidy making up the difference. The demand for vouchers far exceeds supply, and low-income households can languish on wait lists for years. In the lawsuit filed last month in Sacramento County Superior Court, the state civil rights department alleges the landlords, Carlos and Linda Torres, sent their tenant, Alicia Gonzalez, an eviction notice stating that they decided to remove the house from Section 8 program completely. After the tenant told them that evicting her for that reason was illegal, the landlords harassed her, threatened her with violence, and unlawfully locked her out of her home, the department said in the news release.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting process, segue into reparations, because we definitely need a housing carve out, right? And in the next few weeks, hopefully, we are going to be presenting some things here on Even the Mass Media Group, and hopefully on other platforms if they humbly allow us. In terms of the future for the Freedmen's Bureau, or the new Freedmen's Bureau, however we're calling it, on a federal and state and possible local level. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But definitely housing needs to be part of the solution. You know?
Yeah, housing is right up there at the top of the list on proposals, definitely, that CJEC worked on to turn into the task force for consideration. And this exact same thing came up. this law that was enacted in 2020 that says that you can't discriminate based on Section 8 voucher, we said it needs to be enforced. I mean, the people on our team working on the bill were like, they're not enforcing the law, which we can see from this article here. So definitely more enforcement on the Section 8 law and a carve out, for Section 8 vouchers if need be, because like they said, the demand far exceeds the supply at this current time.
Facts. All right. Damar Hamlin has breathing tube removed and is talking, which is wonderful news. Bills safety Damar Hamlin had his breathing tube removed overnight and has been able to talk with his family, doctors, and teammates, the Buffalo Bills said Friday morning. Hamlin was speaking by video chat on Friday to teammates and coaches as they met in preparation for a game on Sunday against the New England Patriots. In a news conference with reporters, Bills coach Sean McDermott said he surprised the team with a treat, and the players gave Hamlin a standing ovation when they saw him on screen. Hamlin later made a heart gesture with his hands, gave a thumbs up, and flexed his arm muscles. McDermott said, curling both his biceps as he recounted the call. Hamlin also spoke to the team, McDermott said, and had a simple message: love you boys. It was a pretty cool exchange for a few seconds there, Dermott said. And we definitely need to, if you believe in the universe, not believe in the universe, but I'm glad this brother was able to recover like this. We currently don't know, obviously, what kind of impact this is going to have on his health moving forward. But looks like we do have a clip to play in terms of somebody's kind of critique, of the NFL and how the NFL has historically and presently treat its employees, which basically are the players. So here we go.
I just don't believe the league was never considering continuing the game.
I'm gonna keep it real. We in left field. We in left field. I'm kind of hot right now too. I'm kind of hot because we do this every freaking time something happened on this field. Everybody want to pivot and act like they. I done heard people talking about, just the mental health of the players, and you could die. They don't even know they could die out here. We sit here and talk about this stuff every single time. Schedule remakes, how we gonna make it up, what the league feels about it. I don't give a damn what the league feels about it. Let's keep it real. Why we don't talk about the stuff that matters? This young man, you wanna know how what you need to know about him? He's 24 years old, right? He got a contract for $160,000. That's his bonus. And he earns $825,000 this year. You say, G. Bush, why are you talking about this man's money? Because guess what? He's been in the league 2 years. That means he's not vested. That means if he never plays another down in his life, he don't get another check from the NFL. Let's be clear about this. You got to play 3 to 4 years before you even sniff a pension. So all this heartwarming and prayers and condolences don't do nothing for that boy's mom that got to go home, look at her son, and he might need extensive care for the rest of his life. And you know what the NFL will tell you? Well, we'll look out for the people like him. No, you won't. No, you won't. Let's talk about the disability policy for the NFL, right? They moved it from $22,000 a month to $4,000 in the last collective bargaining agreement. Did you know that the NFL has a private board that reviews all aspects with their doctors and with their neurologists and their specialists? They can deny benefits even if Social Security deems you to be permanently disabled. The league can come back and then say, the government is they're experts, but let's take it over so we don't pay anything out. Only 15% get approved by Social Security. The league says that number should be lower. Get that, 15% of the people who apply for disability in this country, I know, I was a disability expert. It's very low. I submitted over almost 250,000 applications in 1 year one time. I know. Since the CTE settlement, only 6.5% of the settlement has been paid, according to the admin's website. I looked it up yesterday. And 60% of the claims have a qualifying diagnosis but have not been paid. Let's talk about this. They're also moving the pension. And that pension, he got to make it to 55. He's 24. And they've moved that between $3,000. They moved it down to $3,000 when it was $5,600 a month. And the last stat that you should know about is the Bills owner Terry Pegula owns the Sabres as well as the Buffalo Bills, and his net worth is $6.7 billion. My question to you is, NFL, when do salaries become guaranteed? If you know these young men are going out there and they could die on that football field, I don't give a damn what your thoughts and prayers are. Do the right thing. I just heard Aditi say it 7 times. This is a savage sport. Men are dying every week, and you covered that up during CTE, and now you want to act like you the top of the food chain because you got the CPR people on the field on time? That's the least you should do. You're not going to...
Man.
Well, that's really disgusting. And then he said that they reduced the amount they were getting in disability from $22K to like $4K or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean
that's just greed, unchecked greed.
Yeah, and the career span, I think on average is about 3 years, give or take, if you're lucky. So yeah, so they definitely need a revamping of this whole NFL system.
Right, this young man with his whole life ahead of them might not even get a pension, and like this gentleman said, I mean, he might need extensive care and won't be getting any more money, and the NFL's not paying for his medical. I mean, that's just criminal.
Yep, absolutely.
But
right.
It's good to hear that DeMar is, showing some motor activity and seems to be on the upswing. So that is encouraging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Encouraging. All right. Here we go.
All right, so over here, as you can see, I think I put it up a little bit too high that you can't even see it. Oh man, I'm burning through these things. But under this 7-Eleven sign, there is a Ukraine Federal Credit Union. What do we call these? Just signs up here that was spotted in Citrus Heights. The tweet came to my attention. Black Voltron Reloaded said, "Black Americans, this picture was taken earlier this afternoon in Citrus Heights, California, Sacramento suburb, right out here where we are in good old Sacramento. Your hella hard-earned tax dollars have been taken away from you and given to these Ukrainian non-citizens in order to build up their community, not yours." And that was a tweet from January the 5th, which was yesterday. So I went and did some research about this Ukrainian Federal Union, and apparently it's been around for quite a bit. But from this article from October 2022, you can see that they are revitalizing these across the nation. Ukrainian Federal Credit Union, again serving new immigrants. For this credit union and its membership, every day is International Credit Union Day. Ukrainian Federal Credit Union was founded in 1953 to serve Ukrainian immigrants who came to the U.S. after World War II. For almost 70 years, our mission has been to provide the highest level of professional financial services to members of our community who, in many cases, are underserved. We are not just a financial institution, but a center for the Ukrainian community in the cities where we have branches. And as you can see, right here in Sacramento, we have a branch. We offer online and mobile access as well as shared branching services, but we see that physical bi- uh, bilingual branches still play an important role in our success. The challenge is to find qualified bilingual employees to fill member service positions. In the last few years, many employees have had problems hiring. For us, the challenge was even bigger because we needed to find candidates with additional language skills. With Ukrainians now escaping another war and coming to us, not just to open accounts, but to get advice on many aspects of their life in this country, the validity of our mission has been underscored. So, coming soon to a city near you. And it sounds like they are going to be prioritizing employees based on language that they speak.
Well, you better get your Ukrainian language going up, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. But at any rate, so, well, we already know that we also need to revive our Freedmen Bank or some kind of Freedmen credit union in preparation for our reparations. So they should get on that quick, fast, and in a hurry.
ASAP. All right, here we go. All right, so it looks like an El Paso visit by Biden says U.S. will allow 30,000 migrants from 4 countries to enter monthly. Migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela will be allowed entry and given work permits. The administration will also expand the use of Title 42 to expel more migrants to Mexico. All right. President Joe Biden on Thursday announced a weekend visit to the Texas-Mexico border, along with a new immigrant plan that would allow 30,000 migrants per month from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to enter the country and be able to work legally for up to 2 years. In order to qualify, the migrants must apply from their home countries, pass a background check, and prove they have a financial supporter in the U.S. As part of the plan, the Biden administration also will begin to use the emergency health order known as Title 42 to expel the same number of migrants from those 4 countries to Mexico if they attempt to enter the U.S. illegally. According to the Department of Homeland Security, Mexico has agreed to accept up to 30,000 migrants a month from those countries under Title 42. If more than that number are apprehended, immigration officials would process additional migrants under standard immigration laws, which could result in deportation and a 5-year ban from being able to enter the country legally. Nicaragua and Venezuela won't take back their citizens who have entered the U.S. illegally. Mexico previously accepted only a limited number of migrants from Central America. In a speech from the White House, Biden said the new actions aren't going to fix our entire immigration system, but they can help us a good deal in better managing what is a difficult challenge. Biden also said he will visit El Paso on Sunday before he heads to Mexico City, where he is scheduled to meet with Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau during the North American Leaders Summit on Monday and Tuesday. The border visit will be Biden's first since he became president 2 years ago.
So 30,000 migrants monthly for how long are we talking here?
That's a great question.
We can't do that forever. But anyways, it sounds like, there are a lot of restrictions on these migrants coming from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. It's basically you got to get your paperwork in order before you even start heading in this direction. These other migrants that are just coming over illegally, I don't see much being done about that issue. It sounds like there are a lot of provisions to send these migrants back from these particular countries, and also to what did it say? You'll be blocked from coming in the country if you fail to meet some of these restrictions.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, it is what it is, family.
But we got to stay diligent and keeping an eye on this stuff. But yeah, it just seems, like a lot.
Yep. Well, we're just struggling and trying to survive every single day.
Right. They got
every single day.
Credit unions for Ukrainians, reparations for Africans, mass migrants, and no reparations.
All right.
All right. Speaking of reparations, local activist warns of objections to reparations. Chris Lodgson advised a small group of people seeking information about reparations to be aware of individuals in opposition to compensating Black people for the past and present harms they have suffered in California. Lodgson, a member of the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, CJEC, provided an update on activities concerning the California Reparations Task Force at Drip Espresso, a Black-owned coffee shop in Midtown Sacramento. Lodgson said he would not be surprised if you see some Black folk popping up and saying, well, I'm Black and I don't deserve reparations. Quote, we will see the enemies of reparations soon. There will be organized, well-funded, and well-resourced effort to stop this one way or another, end quote, Lodgson said of a few high-profile African Americans already campaigning against reparations. Quote, that means we will see a type of opposition against this we've never seen. And let's just speak plainly. A lot of times the first folks they use are their own people, end quote. CJEC is one of 7 anchor organizations sanctioned by the task force to host listening sessions, organized to engage the public about reparations. It is a coalition of organizations and associations united for political education, community organizing, and effective political action statewide, specifically in the interest of California's Black descendants of slavery. Conservative radio host Larry Elder, a Black man who unsuccessfully ran for governor in the recall election against Governor Gavin Newsom in October 2021, posted his views about reparations on Twitter. Elder has made a few comments about reparations recently after published reports surfaced that stated that the task force expects to recommend an amount of $223,000 for each eligible Black Californian. He cited that taxpayer money could go to people who were never enslaved. Quote, in California, those who never owned slaves will pay $233,000 in reparations to those who were never slaves, Elder tweeted on December 6th.
Oh no, that's Larry Elder.
Good old Larry Elder.
Golly, that dude.
I know. I mean, why come out so hard against it? If you're supporting Larry Elder, unless it's for your, white paymaster approval.
Just even is mentioning of that dude's name just, man, gives me the EBGBs, dude. Like,
let's just be thankful that he's not our governor.
Oh, whew. Word, man, California, man, that
that would have been
a turn up. We'd got turned up with that dude. Man, that is nuts. But shout out to Chris Lawson, man, putting in great work. Shout out to CJEC, you know, and all the people and all the family. If you call yourself ADOS, FBA, Freedmen, whatever y'all doing, just keep on putting in the work, keep putting in the pressure. Because, you know, this is how you do it. You got to participate.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch and we need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck, Freedman family. We need you to just, you know, anything you can do to help move this reparations conversation and narrative forward. Talk to everybody you can. Like I said, in California here, we are in the home stretch. And after that, we want to make sure, or not even after that, consecutively, we also are focused on federal reparations. I mean, reparations, we cannot take our eye off of that ball.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Bruce's Beach. Speaking about taking the eyes off the ball, Bruce's Beach, the California property seized from its black owners and returned to their heirs in 2022 will be sold back to LA County for $21 million. According to county officials, the descendants of Charles and Willa Bruce, the original landowners of Bruce's Beach, plan to sell the oceanfront property back to Los Angeles County for almost $20 million. Last July, LA County gave the land first owned by the couple back to their heirs as a reparation for the unjust actions taken by the city of Manhattan Beach to obtain the property nearly 100 years ago. The land is now worth millions, and the living relatives recently shared they decided to sell it back to the county, although the timing of the sale is unclear. The seizure of Bruce's Beach nearly a century ago was an injustice inflicted upon not just Willa and Charles Bruce, but generations of their descendants who almost certainly would have been millionaires. Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors Chair Janice Hahn said in a statement, like many, the couple moved to the West Coast for new opportunities. Willa purchased a lot in Southern California at Manhattan Beach for $1,225. She and Charles wanted to create a safe place where black tourists could stay during the Jim Crow era when visiting the Golden State. So they decided to build a popular resort on the land that gained a lot of business from black travelers, but not without pushback from white residents living in the surrounding neighborhoods. In 1924, racism pushed local real estate agents and others to start a petition that led Manhattan Beach City Council officials to take the land from the Bruces to build a park. Over the last few years, Willa and Charles' descendants, activists, local officials, and politicians have been fighting for justice to give the Bruce family what was rightfully theirs. This is what reparations look like, and it is a model I hope governments across the country will follow, Hahn said in a statement. Some believe the land is worth more than $20 million and think the Bruce family should renegotiate the price. And I know we do have some more slides to show for this, but I just also want to give a shout out to Kavon Ward, who definitely was championing and supporting the Bruce's family and their descendants for this time. So I wanted to give a shout out to her right now.
Shout out Kavon, definitely put in a lot of work on helping the Bruces get their land back. I mean, this just really saddens me, though, that they're going to be selling it back to the city. I was hoping that it would become a staple in the, Black American freedmen community, So, but yeah, according to, people in the Twitter sphere, the price is too low. Someone named Phyllis Lewis here, an oceanfront property in California that was taken from black owners during the Jim Crow and returned to their descendants last year, will be sold back to Los Angeles County for nearly $20 million. So it's even nearly $20 million, not even $20 million strong. And then someone named Fortain Cashmere down here responded to this tweet saying, except it's worth $75 million. The legislation signed on this one is robbery. Too bad the family didn't have better legal advisors. Did they have any? Question mark. The sale should not exceed $20 million clause is just a highway robbery and similar to what happened to the fam in the first place. So she's saying that they are being victimized all over again, and that there was some kind of a clause in here that the sale should not exceed 20 million clause. The sale to who? I mean, if it's my property, I can sell it for what I want, right?
That's true.
So this latest news about the sale back to the city, they really haven't been putting in the fact that the land is actually worth 75. It's just saying that they're selling it for $20 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but in context to its real value, it's not even. Gosh. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's way low. So California, I did some research. Let's look back in October 2021, everybody was associating the property price with $75 million, including this Senate.ca.gov website. California bill signed to return Bruce's Beach, valued at $75 million. Also CNN back in October. The two lots were worth approximately $75 million. Here on MSN back in October, $75 million. Bruce's Beach return to Black family, and $75 million also on Fox News back in October. So just know, family, that the city is getting quite a steal, let's say.
Obviously, and this is really not reparations. And I know I don't know, was that the mayor or someone, I don't know, Han or whatever her name was, talking about this is what reparations look like. Look, if you're talking about the 5 forms of, international law reparations, and one of those is guarantees of non-repetition, right? Obviously, they're being harmed again because, look, I mean, it's supposed to be, they ain't even giving them 75 million, 20 million. Are you serious?
Yeah, 20 million. That's about a fourth of, the value. So,
man, that is nuts.
I mean, I would love to see an interview. Maybe we could try to get them on ETN with the Bruce's family just to, talk about this. Like I said, it makes the, the community, it's sad in the community. Makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you talk about this, like many, and I highly recommend once we come out, cross fingers, working on some distribution right now with our documentary. But I mean, there are so many places, not just in California, but all across the nation, right? The value of the land, not just the land, but the opportunity that Black American freedom people were building and we're going to build right now, and just the dynamic and the trajectory of us as a group of people, a nation here, would have been so dynamically changed right now.
Yeah.
Right. If Black people were literally left alone to prosper like any other person here in America. But this is just another case of why it's so important for people to fight for these reparations.
Right. And like you said, this is not reparations. And we had a commenter say it's restitution. So let's get the language right when we're speaking about it. Instead of just normalizing reparations across the board for every little transaction that takes place.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, I think up here. All right, family. This is a new year, 2023. And I think, as Kim may have mentioned earlier in the broadcast and the news, is that, you know, we're here in California, at least June, July-ish. The task force is coming out with their proposals. And family, we got this great product right here, right now on Amazon that you can purchase. I think it's pre-ordered, but it might be available. Put the link in there. Check us out. If it's too long, just hit us up at ETN Media Group. The link's too long. Just hit us up at etnmediagroup@gmail.com. And we'll help you out with getting these out to you. We need to manifest this. You know, we need to put this in writing. I think the one thing that we've gotten away from, and not just, you know, Black American freedmen people, but just Americans in general, with our cell phones and, you know, our digital scheduling. Like, we really need to get back to writing, right? Physically putting things. I know for me, you know, I've always been one to write things down and to manifest my goals on a personal level, on a business level, and many other things. So I think this would be a great opportunity, family, for you to go check it out. We got 2 covers up right now. We got the regular black, and then if you want a little color, you got the USA cover as well. It's about 40 pages. It's got some historical references in there that you can check out. But for the most part, it's really for you to write down your goals and objectives, either for reparations, which is great, or just if you have some general ideas that you want to manifest in 2023.
Yeah, definitely. We need all hands on deck for this endeavor. I would like to see one of these planners, and everybody who would benefit from reparations, and even those who just support the movement, get this. And write down, like you said, your manifestations for the year. And there are other creative uses, like our partner, Darlene Crumdy. She was reading through the interim report, and she had some notes, and I was like, oh, that would be a great note to write in your planner once you get it. And she was like, yeah, I wish I had my planner. So she'll be getting her planner very soon, and I hope you will be too. And again, looking back on this thing, this is going to be something to hand down to the grandchildren. You know, just write down what's going on in your area as far as reparations is concerned, what you would like to see. I know since we are here in California in the development phase of these proposals, I'll be jotting down my ideas on proposals that I want to put forward. And yeah, it's just going to be one day it's going to be a historic document. Today, we need to get the manifestations on reparations out into the universe.
Absolutely. So on that note, everyone, be safe, be prosperous, be positive. May you and your family enjoy yourselves, and let's go do this in 2023. So
2023, family.
Yep.
Let's do it.
In the news.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us.
This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR roof, don't tune in.